Alright, now, it is time for our Stars Episode 7 review. Just some quick thoughts on this one. I saw this movie twice in the theaters, and I watched it once at home, so I've seen this movie 3 times in like a year. I usually will not do that with any movie, but I did it with this one. You really gotta sink it in and see how you feel about it. Um, Now story-wise, the movie, I think people hated that it was too similar to episode 4. Um, I don't, I hate it for that. I just feel like they were kind of lazy. They weren't really lazy. They were just playing it safe. They're like, the prequels, everyone hated them so much, and they were so different. Maybe if we do something a little more like how the original was, maybe people will like it better. And it seemed to work because people seemed to like this one. Um, you know, it. I think if they just would have took out the Death Star, well, the Star Killer base thing in it, I think people would like this movie a lot more. Um, but the story, you know, they could have done a better job with it. They could have made it a little bit more original. But I think it's okay for the situation. They did play it safe and stuff, but it is just the first one in a trilogy. I think it set up the whole trilogy up very nicely because, you know, this movie had good characters. The prequels, it doesn't matter what the story was for the prequels. I wouldn't have cared what they were doing because all the characters sucked in that. Does anyone care about what Qui-Gon Jinn is doing? No. Um, but you got Rey and Finn, they were very interesting characters, and you know the John Boyega and Daisy Ridley, you know, they did great jobs with their characters, made them likable people that I actually want to see what happens to them. Um, this is kind of a spoiler, but I'm sure you've seen the movie by now because it's been out for a year, and if you haven't, then you're not a Star Wars fan, so just shut up. But at the end of the movie, when uh, what's his name? I just said it. The black guy gets his lightsaber to the back. For a moment there, I almost thought he was actually gonna die. I'm like, but the only reason that made me not is because they already killed off Han Solo. But I was actually concerned. I'm like, I don't want this guy to die. He needs to be in the next movie because I really like this character. I really like this guy. Um, so even though the story could have been better, the characters were good enough, and they set up for, hopefully what can be a good trilogy. Now visually, it was, the practical effects were all really good. Um, it felt like a Star Wars movie. Um, you know, and it's also not just because the prequels were so CGI, but all movies now are so CGI. It was nice to see some real, actual things in a movie, and it was shot on film, and it looks great. So um, so visually, it's really good. John Williams there's a good score in there. Some like negatives. Like I said, the story could have been better. Um, the thing though is they did so many good practical effects. You know, but then they have the Maz, I think, the little orange alien and Snoke that just don't really fit in there, and they feel like they should have been in the prequels. Like they kind of just threw everything off. It's like, oh, they were doing so well, and they had to put these CGI things in there. Kind of ruined it. Um, it was a very funny movie. I liked how it was. It was probably the funniest Star Wars movie I've ever seen. But yeah, I feel like it was kind of trying to feel like a lot of other movies that are coming out these days. So I don't know. So the humor kind of feels like it might be a little off in the future because it will be like, I don't know how to explain it, but so we'll see how that holds up. But overall, I enjoy the movie. It was probably my favorite movie of last year. Could be better. Hope they improve on the next ones.